Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome back. Today, I feel very, very honored to have Arno Konings as the one of the founders of Regrooved Records here for an interview. Arno, thank you so much for making this possible. It's a real honor to have you here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to tell a little bit more about the label and so. So, yeah, thank you for that.
I have to thank you for taking the time. So, a couple of months ago, I started my own little online record store, and people always said, "Okay, you have used records, but it would be so great if you could put in some reissues." And I'm super picky what I put in that store. And I said, well, finding good reissues of soul records is super difficult, especially when you look from stuff what's coming out from record store day. You have like these flimsy covers, and I'm also not so happy always with the pressing quality. And then I discovered Regrooved Records, and I was totally impressed with the quality of the vinyl, with the quality of the jackets, with the quality of the sound and everything. And I put it in my store, and people were like, Regrooved, I've never really heard of that. And you did a fantastic release just a couple of months ago, and this was the Crowd Pleasers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was visiting a friend in the Netherlands, and I was telling him, have you heard about that album? It's from Regrooved. And he said, yeah, I know these guys. Hold on a second. And he brought the two of us in touch.
Yeah.
And this guy is, in my humble opinion, I think one of the largest soul collectors, at least in Europe. So, Mark, if you're seeing this, thank you very much for connecting me with Arno. So, Arno, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Regrooved.
Yeah, Regrooved, it's actually owned by Deep Proof, the pressing plant in Leeuwarden in Holland, Chris. And it's really it's a smaller pressing plant with really high quality. You know, they really go for the quality. And they had already a record out, this one, the Dwight Thompson album. And then we got in touch with one of the guys there, Robert, who I got to know with collecting funk. And we said, we decided, well, let's go to start a label. You know, we have a pressing plant, you have the contacts, and Robert has the design and all the things he does. So we try to come up with names. So why don't we use the name that you already had from the Dwight Thompson album? And so we started, restarted the label in 21, I think it was, yeah, with the Sly. And this is the one. This one. That was actually the second release on Deep Grooves from Regrooved, and with the booklet and the quality, you see the paper and the pressings, and that quality comes from Deep Groove pressing plant. And then we started the label to dive into obscure releases. So we have a mixture of one-on-one re-releases from albums that came out in the 60s, 70s. And we have our own compilations or findings, like the Crowd Pleasers, and among others, Mutiny. I'll show you a little bit later. But it's a fun thing to do. And so the three of us, we really put the effort into it. Like Robert with the design and with the contacts, and I have the contacts with musicians in America, and so together we created this great label, and we have now 18 releases. We have a couple of singles, and more coming up. It's a labor of love. It's a passion for vinyl and quality, and we rather make quality records and earn less than make the floppy, cheap sleeves. And you see the it's the tip-on sleeves. We use a lot of tip-on sleeves. It's quality, it's thick. It's the pressings are, this one we have black, and then mostly we always do colors. And normally color vinyl is the sound is less, but the sound with these color vinyls is really great. And we always work with Bollywood recording sound studio from Johannes, and he really gets the best sound out of it. Like the Crowd Please album, it was just a tape we had, and he did a great thing. So that's why the sound and the quality of pressing that makes us, I think, different than a lot of other small labels.
Yes, and with the crowd pleasers, it's just like one of a kind. So the thing is, what people should know is that you usually don't do represses. So once it's gone, it's gone. So it was
Yes.
a really, really difficult, because once I've discovered Regrooved, I wanted to have all the catalog. And I thought, okay, I go and order them, but they were out of print. So you have to go to the secondary market, and they are not so easy to find.
Yeah, exactly. We believe in catch the moment. We press up 500 copies, sometimes 300, and that's it. Maybe like 100 of a special color, or with a 45, but that makes it special. And a good example is release we have now out, Action Funk. Robert came up with this, and it was released on vinyl some years ago on 2 albums, but they squeezed in the sound so much that there was terrible sound. The pressing was bad, and now we created a 3 sleeve with 3 albums, so the sound spread over 3 vinyls is so much better. So it's not just the album out, but also the joy of the sound when you put it on. That really it's crystal clear.
Yes, and what I also wanted to point out, especially with the crowd pleasers. So first of all, this is very unique because the album, the original tapes from that album, they were destroyed, they were lost.
Yes,
So
correct.
you only had the acetates, which were offered on eBay like a couple of years ago, and I think in total there were $11,000. You know, the first one was I think 4,000, and the last one 7,000. So kind
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
$11,000. And I have some acetates, and I know how they sound. So I was like, this is for a historical moment very important, because you can listen to this, you can enjoy this. And I was skeptical about the sound quality. I wanted to have it anyway because the historical importance was important to me. The music was important to me, not that it's an audiophile record. But then I put it on, and I was so impressed with the sound quality, where the source was an acetate, that I was like stunned. I was like, wow, how did they do this? When you know how an acetate sounds, and then you hear what you guys made of it, I was very impressed with that one.
Well, thanks, and that's the credit to Johans. He really with his studio really he didn't want to take out all the chips and things, but to really get that warm sound. So all credits to him for cleaning up that tape, because if you hear the original tape, it was actually a cassette tape from the acetate. So and what he did with it was like a miracle. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, he had a cassette tape from the acetate, and he made that kind of sound of it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's even more impressive.
Yeah, I didn't pay $7,000 for the acetate. So actually, the owner of the tape, Al Carey, he was one of the band members and founders of the band, and he got a tape, and I got in contact with him and explained him. And in the beginning, he didn't feel like doing it, but then I said, "Well, we want to honor your sister and brother who passed away. You can see them on the back cover. This is Al, and then this is twin brother and sister. They passed away, these two, and I convinced him, we're gonna make a really, really, really cool release out of it, and then, but there was no cover, so Robert made a fantastic cover with a good feeling of that sound and the 70s thing, and he did an amazing job. So, not the music was not, there, but also there was no cover, so we had to create something. And this really cool sleeve and typical early 70s look, and that was really also important.
Yes, and next to the tip-on jacket and the great sound quality is when you have sometimes reissues, you have the impression that they took a picture out of the internet and exposed it, and you can see like pixels all over it. With your covers, it's a crystal clear image. It's like, I can hardly describe it. So also with all the releases I'm very happy to have from Regrooved, they have a stunning printing and picture quality. Plus, I must say, as you said, you earn less, but the pricing is also very, very fair. when I'm comparing it to other releases with a less quality approach than yours.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. I think as a team we do a great job, and we love what we're doing. And like the albums, we don't have the like for instance this album. We bought Robert bought an original copy, and then he made it all clean and restored it all. It takes hours. It takes days, but we don't. You see these reissues when you see the circle in the sleeve, and these Temptations and Motown is a good example. But so we want to have everything perfect. So it takes time. So we can't release every month a record. Sometimes it takes more time, but it's it's better wait for the perfect one than put out things fast.
Yes, absolutely. And then I saw a release, which is in the next couple of days finally arriving at here. Is I have here the original copy, and this is, for, in my humble opinion, one of the best gospel records, best kind of disco-ish, groovy gospel records. And this is the Howard Lemon Singers.
Yeah.
So this is the first ever reissue of this album, and I thought in 100 years, no record label will know how great this record is. There was a 45 released a couple of years ago with 2 tracks, but not the entire album. And finding this as an original copy is at least $200 to $250 if you find one.
Yeah.
And having this now available, that's absolutely stunning. Maybe you can tell us something about that release.
Well, the things we work together with the party that we can license albums, and of course, when you license an album that has huge success, it has no use to reprint it. And so we look for the gems, and so we do soul and funk. And the first gospel album was this one, and that sold out really quickly. So we said, well, let's do 2 more, and then we came up with this one, and this one just came out. So we have 2 more albums, and it's like you said, when you go on Discogs and you see the pricing of these albums original, it's crazy. And now you can pick up the same album, good quality, the same kind of feeling with the good sleeves, and for a good price. And so we really look for the gems, and it's hard because we got the tough competition, but it's we really look for the gems to see what's available, and that's Robert and I will we look at the things and then we say this is good, this is not good, and we have we make a list, he makes a list, I make a list, and then we cross off things, and then let's go for this one, and then that's how we do it.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that you did this, because a couple of months ago I had an interview with Howard Lemon, and I think he will be very pleased to hear that a reissue of this album is coming out.
Yeah, and it's a great album. It's gospel, but it's funk, it's funky, it's soul. It's nothing that you can expect. So yeah, really happy with that album.
Yeah. So I was so pleased to hear that. And what I also want to point out, which is not so common when buying a reissue, you're sending them all out and polylined inner sleeves.
Yeah.
That's not so common.
No, but it's again, that's a quality we aim for. When you buy a Regrooved album, it's quality. It's always quality. We don't go for the cheap things.
So you reissued an album, Little Beaver, from the Cat label. So yeah. And I think the Cat label has a couple of very rare records, like Black Knight. I think you've just shown that. I think that's the rarest from them. We have Gwen McRae, Melody of Life, which is pretty hard to find and not so cheap. And you did a reissue of Little Beavers. So once again, the printing quality is absolutely stunning. I thought you had the original photo art to reproduce it, but when you say we scanned it, and you guys are doing a tremendous great job with it. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about how this record came to life.
Robert came with this one on the list. We screened things, and we did another album of him. Let me check. Yeah, I can't find it now, but we made a first album of him. I can't find it here now. So, but that went really great. So we said, let's do a new one. Let's do not new one, but another one. And Robert really, as I said, he cleaned it out so much that it looks like it just came out of the store.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it takes hours and days to really get that great look and get it really, crystal clear and sharp.
But also authentical with the colors.
Yeah, yeah.
So on some of these records I have as originals, and I also compared the colors, and it's very close, very, very close to the original.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no messing around with the colors that somebody is now having a yellow face or things like that.
No.
I really, really appreciate that. Next to, of course, for everybody who buys vinyl, of course, the most important factor is that you have good vinyl and the best possible sound quality.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we does it all. I don't want to brag, but the quality is fantastic. Every record.
Like I said in the beginning, I'm so picky. When I had started my online shop, I'm so straightforward with the grading. I grade instead a little less than actually somebody else would do, but so I make sure that the customer who gets the record is happy with what he ordered. And so I wanted to make sure to have only the best possible products I buy and I like, and I can say, okay, I'm selling this because my name is connected somehow with it. So and Regrooved was my first choice then to put them in the store. And now, as we are doing or rarely do represses, I'm now missing many releases from Regrooved, and I'm now trying to track them down. So that's quite a task.
Well, we have actually already people that really try to get the collection, complete, and they go on eBay or Discogs to find the first releases, and some we have some in stock, but most of it is gone already.
Yeah. So with the crowd pleasers, there was something very interesting. Excuse the noise. Is you did this Obi, which is a translation for belt, I think.
Yeah.
And on the back, you mentioned an album from Junie Morrison. Yes. And he worked with the Ohio Players and Funkadelic, and was also a huge influence for One Nation Under a Groove. And I saw this, and I was like, I know that Junie did some solo work, but I don't know this album.
Yeah.
So I did some research, and then I found it's a live recording.
Yeah, it's a live recording.
And I was like, are you kidding me? Because what people have to consider is that back in the day, when you were not a huge act like Donna Summer, Barry White, or other people, the record companies didn't even bother to send recording equipment to one of the venues and record it. So from those artists who are not so known, you rarely have any live recordings. And I was like, in 1977, he was in his peak, in my opinion. And I was stunned to have this as a live recording. So, of course, I had to get it. And as I'm a crazy fan, of course, I bought the deluxe version, because you have a standard version and a deluxe version.
Yes.
So the thing is also with this one, what people have to consider is that this wasn't recorded with a dedicated recording system. So I think somebody put a cassette in the mixing desk and had the thought to record what he was doing.
Exactly.
So and the sound quality is not an audiophile recording, but still as a historical artifact from that time.
Yeah.
It's, first of all, for me, it sounds great, but for those who are audiophile people, it's not. I don't think it's not their thing. But if you like funky, musically great music that entertains you and you feel joy, I think this Junie record is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's as you said, I said it came from a sound recording tape, and. The same studio, Johannes, he cleaned it up really nice, and we and you remind Junie he wrote the hits for Ohio Players. he wrote the hits for George Clinton. So to the mainstream people, he's not known, but in the music scene, he's really well known. He was like a prince. He arranged, wrote everything himself, and so when we came with the artwork, we wanted to have that, that special Ohio players look with the G-fold pimp style cover, and then we have inside all these notes about how it all came about, and then we wanted to have the album comes out in 76, and that I think yeah.
Yeah, 76. Yeah, sorry, I said 77, but it was 76.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
At the Doolies, exactly. So, and once again, I do love, and when you just showed it, you have some memorabilia showing up here, you have some pictures, you have a huge extent of liner notes, which you sometimes don't see at all, which are very interesting. And once again, I put this record up, and I thought, is this some kind of edited a little bit, the tape?
Yeah, because the tape was longer, and we have one final too, so we had to cut down some of it. So what we did was, like with the bonus release, we added also a 7-inch to it. Let me check where it is. Yeah. So the album, and then you also have the 7-inch that went with the bonus release, and now we also have them like separate as a release. But we had to cut it down a little bit to put it on the vinyl. That's
And also, I think what's included in the deluxe version is a poster.
Yes, a poster. Yes.
So these are the kinds of releases I absolutely dig. So things there weren't before, and you get a glimpse of what it was to be in Doolies in 1976 and listen to that. When I listened to that record, I wished I would have been there.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy with it, and we still have some copies left. So if people want to buy a record through your web shop, we can provide them. So yeah.
So not so many copies left, actually, because the thing is, you make such a small amount of records, like 300 or so. So like with the crowd pleasers, I've had it in store and I was sold out within 48 hours.
Yeah.
So and that's it. But like I said, for those who are interested in this is not an audiophile record, but it's a glimpse back into time when you were sitting in Doolies and listened to one of the greatest funk legends out there. So and it's on heavy vinyl. And my only complaint with this, and this is my only complaint, is you go all the 9 yards, but then you send in the single in a paper industry. That's my only complaint.
Well, things when we do it on the normal single release are like actually in thick cardboard sleeves, but with the bonus. Because of the thickness, this was too thick to put in the album.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, but that was my only complaint about this. Otherwise, I love these kind of things which were never there, and somebody who's doing this for freaks like me who want to have all of it. Having a possibility to have a look in 1976 and listen to this. And this is for me far more important than have the perfect audiophile record.
And it's also the only live recording of Junie. So anyway, it's when you put it on, you just play it all the time. You don't stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and this is pretty. Like I said, it's so rare to have live recordings from these groups from back then. Like I said, from groups like the Ohio Players. So that this is like the Temptations. There aren't so many live recordings from them out there. So there's so many groups back then: the Enhancements, the Delegations, the Manhattans. So many groups. I wish I would have had the opportunity to see them live, or to hear them live. And it's not out there because the record labels didn't make the effort to do that.
Exactly. No.
So, and I was stunned when I read the live recording. I said, there is no live recording of Junie. There is not been recorded. And then I had to have it. And the deluxe edition is beautiful, but also the standard version yeah, it's missing the poster and the single, but it's still a great record to listen to.
Thanks.
And then you sent me a link to a Spotify track, because people who know me, they know that I'm not so much into new funk and soul music, because in my opinion, it's very often a copy of an old theme, you know, or listening to, then they try to record it analog, but it's not giving me the same vibe as 70s tracks. And then you send me a link to a group which is called Octave Pussy.
Yes.
And I know that I wrote it, I said, I really dig that. And you told me that this group did one album, and I was trying so hard to find this album, because I think only 100 were made.
No, actually, 500 were made.
500 were made, but I think from the blue one,
yeah,
there were only 100 made.
Yes.
And it's just, I found it, and I'm so happy about it, because this is the blue one, and it included a beautiful booklet. So I show you guys this. This is so. It could have been a Parliament 70s record. If you, yeah.
That was the
so
aim.
It has a booklet. It has a poster, and that's a very, very funky record. So, and then I told you it sounds great, and you said you were also involved in doing this record, right?
Yeah, well, so next to Regrooved Records is one. How do we do with Robert and Chris, and Octave Pussy is actually a band from what I do with a bunch of my friends from Holland. And I'm not in the band itself, but I'm more like the arranger, making sure everything happening, and I would do some backing vocals. But I mean, that's nothing. But actually, the band is already 25 years old. We released 6 CDs, but this is the first vinyl version of the album, and we repressed. We wanted to create a P-Funk album, because we you know, through the connections I have with George Clinton for years, every time they come to Europe, we got George in the studio and the guys, and we recorded a track, and then a couple years later another track, and then you know, we put all these tracks together and created this album. And Octave Pussy is actually it's actually a name from the 1978 Aqua Boogie Parliament album. It was a funk character, and the band was created around this name. Underwater, straight from Bimini Road, number 1 Bimini Road. And as you see, we did a black, pink, and blue, and we have 15 copies, band member copies. So we just like really rare stuff, and just to make our own, you know, album. And we had Curtis Wilcox from the States. He did all the drawings of the booklet. 16-page booklet with a poster. It's all his drawings. It's our P-Funk album, and George was really happy about it, and all the guys from P-Funk. There are over 20 people from P-Funk on the album, actually.
Yeah, it could have been an album from the 70s.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have known that this is a new recording, and somebody would have asked me from what year is this, I would have said mid to late 70s.
That was the aim we had. Yeah.
So, and this is just also, this could have been easily be into being a part of an original P-Funk album. Yeah. So they had always this kind of little extra things, and so this was very, very impressive. But if somebody says, wow, I'm really interested in getting this album, is it still possible to find it? Is it still possible, except for the secondary market?
It was sold out really quick, 500 copies. Of course, we have CDs, still some CDs, but, you know, vinyl is, you know, counts. I see them now on Discogs go for like 50, 60, 70 euros already. So, and we said we don't do repressing as well. But I'm really proud of the band, you know, because it's like the music is written by 2 brothers, Steven and Joris van Rijn, and with some steady musicians, and my brother was in the band before, so it's just a bunch of friends making music for a long time already, and now we got the new thing out, the 12-inch.
Yeah, the 12-inch. So Thanks to you, I'm able for those who are interested in, and I highly recommend to check that out, because once it's gone, it's gone. Is a single featuring also Parliamentic Funkadelic and Show Me Your Funk Face.
Yep.
And this is a 12-inch single. And also you have different label colors. You have like this orange, and on the other side you have this bluish kind of label. And there are we have like I said, Show Me Your Funk Face, and on the other side we have Straight from Benini Road and Joyride and some different mixes. And how it's like actually it's like an album, because you have 3 tracks on one side and 4 tracks on the other.
Yeah, we call it a double A side because we couldn't pick what it was, the A side and the B side, so it's a double A side, 12-inch. And the blue side refers to the Bimini album. So we have Joyride is actually a remix of the Octopusy music with American rapper Lucian, together with Shady Grady from Parliament Funkadelic. And we made another mix on the Bimini track. And then on the orange side is Funk Face, Show Me Your Funk Face, and that's our new track. And we love the vinyl. Of course, it goes on Spotify, but it's there now for a week, and we have already over 30,000 streamings for that song only. So it goes really wild for us. But the vinyl is, if you put it on, is crystal clear. Also mastered in Groningen, Johans. He did a great job again, from the guy also from Regrooved. So a great sound and funky colors.
Yes, exactly, because I'm always skeptical with colored vinyl. There's hardly any good experience I've had with colored vinyl, especially from records back in the day. And nowadays, when you have like metal gold shimmering vinyl, but yours, and I played it for a short moment to get an impression, is very, very good.
But that's Deep Groove's pressing plant. The credit to them, because they have the quality. They go for the quality, and together with the mastering and the pressing plant, that's the quality what you see.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very impressed, and that doesn't happen so often with things like this. And for those who want to know, I will offer one version from the pink one in the store, and we also have, thanks to you, I was able to get a yellow version. I'm showing you this one because the colors are stunningly beautiful. So this is what I call yellow. I tell you that it's glowing. Yeah. So I have in the store 2 black versions, 1 yellow and one pink version. And as you've heard, there are no represses planned. So if you want one, be fast, because I highly, highly recommend this. So this is the first time I really dig a group which is newer, because like I said, I always thought that I'm missing the soul of it, but I'm really getting the vibe of this one.
Thanks.
And I play it actually all the time.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Thank you very much.
So what's in the can for, like I said, in the next month? What is Regrooved surprising?
Well, we're going back to Regrooved. This Octopusy is another fun thing, of course, but Regrooved, we come up with another slide one. We had the slide one we have. I show you this slide we also did last year with the booklet as well. And now we come up with that's coming out before Christmas. Is an album, Sly Stone Stoneflower label. Sly had a small label in 1970, and they released mono singles. But now we have the unreleased stereos mixes straight from the masters. And so we were going to release the stereo mixes, and they're significantly different than the mono mixes. That album will be out in Christmas with a booklet.
Yeah. How did you get the stereo? They're not flying around somewhere. So how did you find them?
Well, the context. I have a lot of context concerning the Sly and Flaming Stone music. I released a book. I did work with Sony on some projects. So I'm in the inner circle of the Slice Tone scene. Let's put it this way. So through some contacts, we got the masters, and it's all legit. It's all signed. It's all Regroove only releases proper releases, no bootlegging. It's only through contracts. Because you have a lot of bootleggings and we not do bootleg, so it's all legit. It's all taken care of. Sly even gets a cut, so it's all how it's supposed to go. And then we had contact also with the guy who was in the studio with Sly creating the music and making the mixes. So we also in the booklet will see how the mixes came about, and you see cool photos and see posters and just an example. For the people, sorry for the noise. There was another thing that Robert designed. Now, like the booklet on this one, you see like text, photos. So when you play the music, you actually can read the real story behind what you're hearing, and that's what we're gonna do. So with the one-on-ones and the special productions, like the Sly one and Crowd Pleaser, we want to do something special and let the people know, how this came about. What's so special about this release?
You've mentioned bootlegging. I'm not so much into the scene. I knew from when I was way younger, and I'm a huge Elvis fan as well, that there were many Elvis bootlegs floating the market, especially in the late 70s and early 80s. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, bootlegging is still a thing. But it's something we want to stay away from. That's not our cup of tea. And bootlegs most of the time the quality is not so good. The cheap pressings to make money. They're still out there. And sometimes you go into the supermarket, buy records, and they're bootlegs, but people don't know they're bootlegs. So it's a gray area. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's tough. Because when I to buy a record, like I said, Walmart, like I said, in the United States. So it's still possible for me that there's a bootleg listed.
There's, especially with the a lot of live recordings, like radio broadcast recordings. When a live show was broadcasted on the radio, it's really a gray area. And then there's companies that press up these records, and for some reason it's a gray area, so you don't have to pay royalties and make quick money. Yeah,
because you have all the profits to yourself. And I think in the early 70s, especially Led Zeppelin were having problems with bootlegging, because people brought in a cassette recorder into the concert, and like 2 weeks later the bootleg was out there and being sold in various record stores in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, you have with Parliament Funkadelic, you have a lot of bootlegs, more on CD than on albums, vinyl, but so many. But yeah, bootlegs is not really my cup of tea. I really like the original pressings, and then
Yeah, because it's also when you think of the artist who's giving all his work and other people just taking all the cash, and I remember the bootlegs from the late 70s and early 80s. There was just a plain white cover and a paper glued on it, where you had like typewritten informations and maybe a black and white picture in bad quality, and saying what concert it was, maybe the set list and a picture.
Exactly. Yeah, the Beatles, Sly Stone. There's so many bootlegs out there, Yeah.
But they had some crazy color variations.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
That's what they did. So, Arno, is there still something you want to let us know?
Yeah, just people keep following us, Regrooved Records. There's a lot more stuff coming out. We have I didn't mention, we have a Mutiny album. Where is it? It came out last year. There was an unreleased Mutiny album. This John Brady, the drum of Parliament Funkadelic, from '81. That sold out quick. We pressed 500 copies and they sold like cookies. It was really crazy. So this was really one of the best ones we have out there. in way of quick sales. And now we're coming up with a different album from him from '85, Desires, the Minneapolis thing, also an unreleased album that's coming out. And so we have more with the George Clinton Parliaments, with 17 Del Arcs, with we have 101 reissued, maybe from Cat, and so we'll have more to come. So just keep waiting for the new release of Regrooved.
Yes, I do hope one day you're going to do a reissue of Joanne Garrett. She was she? I always, or not always, but sometimes I mix it up with between Cadet and Chess. But you really need to listen to her album. I could send you a list of albums which I think should be reissued because they are tremendously expensive, or the last reissue was 10 years ago, and now the reissue is almost as expensive as the original pressing.
Well, and exactly. Well, the thing is, it also depends on the label, because we do legit. So we have contacts where we can license things, but we cannot license from all the labels, and especially the major labels. We're not interested because we are a small record label. So and there's a lot of competition, as I said, on the repressing market. But quality-wise, we're definitely in the top. I'm sure of that.
Yes, because like I said in the beginning, when I compared with other reissues, I have. Do you know Lee Moses?
Yeah.
I have. Wait, let me see where I find it quick. If I find it quick, I've seen it just a couple of hours ago. So he did an album, Time and Place, which is insanely expensive. Like if you find it, it's at least $1,000 to $1,200. And I had a reissue from a certain company, and the picture quality was so bad on the front. I was shocked, and I was also not happy with the sound quality. And this was not I don't think it's still an independent. No, it's an independent label, but not such a small label anymore. So I really dig if the smaller labels are putting in more effort to bring out the quality product instead of making quick cash.
Well, that's the key, I think. Before we wrap it up, it's both Robert, Chris, myself, Johan. We love vinyl. We love quality. We love and Deep Groove, the pressing print. They go for quality. So that makes it so unique with Regroove, that we rather really go for the quality, for the good thing, and rather than just a quick win.
Yeah, because I see the sprinkle in your eyes because you're so proud of the product yourself, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that I discovered Regrooved Records. So, like I said, I heard some word about it, but with the Little Beaver and the Crowd Please, and I said if they're bringing everything out like this, so I tried to get more and more. Like I said, it's difficult because once it's sold, it's sold. So you have to go to the secondary market, and I bought some more. And I was really impressed because you have a constant quality. It's not like, oh, they're having a good release and afterwards they're having a bad release, and maybe then they have 2 more good releases, and then it's a constant, very good quality.
Yeah, we're picking what we release. Yeah, definitely. And as I said before, the mix of the own productions we do and the one-on-ones, that makes us, what we do.
How do you make sure that you have always what kind of quality control do you have, or Deep Groove has? Because there was not one warped record, there was not scratched. Also, with the cover, everything was all right. How do you make sure that your quality control is always top notch?
Well, that's all the credits, definitely not to me, but to the Deep Groove crew. They, of course, they press for a lot of companies. And said the owner of Deep Groove, he's also the owner of Regrooved. They just go for the quality, because when you keep the quality, people come back, and they really look for it. If there's something wrong, they do it over again to make sure what's going out there is top quality.
Well, Arno, thank you so much for your time, and everybody who's watching this. If you have questions to Arno, you can write them down in the comments below. I will forward them to him. And also, in the meantime, if you want to have like these kind of discussions for future releases, like I think it's very exciting to have finally stereo mixes of Sly Stone. Let me know down in the comments below. So once again, Arno, thank you so much to your team for providing us with such quality reissues. Finally, reissues. I really, really appreciate your work.
Thank you very much. Thank you for broadcasting this and for the time to have this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you.